I need to tell you guys this ghost story. There's something wrong with my babysitting job.
Window, he looks down to see in the driveway a hearse, and this hearse is full of people. Now,
I know, and it was about the dead man walking when I saw my neighbor who had already died.
Have you ever heard talking or laughing or weird sounds while you're in the shower? Now, believe it or not,
when people who do not believe in the paranormal have something happen to them that makes them undoubtedly believe in the paranormal, it always scares me and intrigues me.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Huh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeat.
so I have a spooky story for you, and this one takes us to New York City. There's a man who's there for a business trip, but he's got some friends who live in the city, so instead of staying at a hotel, he decides to stay with them. But while he's there, there's one night where he's laying in bed upstairs. It's pretty late, and he's having a hard time getting to sleep. He's tossing and turning, and for whatever reason, he just can't get down. And as he's lying there, he notices that a car pulls up and that he can see the headlights through his bedroom window. They're bright. So he's wondering what's going on, and so he gets out of bed and decides to investigate. But as he looks out of the window, he looks down to see in the driveway a hearse, and this hearse is full of people. Now, as he's studying the hearse, he notices that there's somebody standing beside the vehicle, and it's a man. And somehow he can hear this man from upstairs, and the man says, "Would you like to get in? There's room for one more." So the guy closes his window because he's freaked out, rightfully so, and he gets back into bed. The next day, he's headed to a business meeting in New York, and the building that he goes to is one that's got millions of floors on it, it seems. And so he ends up going to the elevator, and when he presses the button, he waits for the doors to open. But when he does, there's an elevator full of people. And he's wondering if he should get in or not, or if he should just wait until the next one. But he hears a voice, and the voice sounds familiar. And it goes, "Would you like to get in? There's room for one more." So the guy gets freaked out, realizing that this is the same exact voice from the guy last night who was in his driveway driving the hearse. So he waved the elevator off, and as it was ascending, this was one of those elevators where the dots were on top telling you what floor it was going to. All of a sudden, you could just hear these screams coming from inside the elevator shaft. The cable that was bringing the elevator to the top had snapped, and it was plummeting, and every single person in that elevator passed away. Now, I don't know if you would call this burnt toast theory. I don't think that's the case here. But what are the odds that this guy who was staying at his friend's random apartment in New York City would eventually end up being at the same building with the same guy he saw in his friend's driveway? So if you enjoyed this story, I got it from a place called zeldadungeon.net or something like that. So I cannot take credit for this story. It belongs to somebody else. However, the submitter who made the story was not listed. But I want to know what you guys are thinking of this story. What do you think happened to the guy? Do you think this was just a sheer coincidence? Drop your thoughts below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny. I am back with more spooky story time. So that first story was very, very interesting. So it's giving very much the man who was supposed to die that night, and I guess the night that he just could not fall asleep, because the man who told him, "Would you like to get in? We have room for one more," is giving the angel of death, right? Because how likely is it that you would see that man there the night before, and then you will go somewhere to an elevator that you're supposed to get in, and you see the same, or you hear the same voice telling you the same exact thing? That is the reason why it's good to listen to your intuition, because it's giving, yes, it was his time to go, but also not his time to go at the same time. But if he did not listen to his intuition, he could have went that day. So anyways, it's very interesting that both, because when you think about it, elevators descend and go back up, and cars actually, it's like hitching a ride. So you can hitch a ride in elevators, and also you can hitch a ride in a car. You know how like a lot of celebrities always talk about hitching a ride, or they're on the side of the road to be picked up, hitching a ride like jumping into like another body. And also they're always talking about elevators. We'll have to do a deep dive in elevators, or about elevators, and also hitching a ride, when you basically hitch a ride with somebody else, like another spirit. So yeah, we'll talk more about that. But while we are on that topic, I want to bring up the story that I told a long time ago on my other channel, and it was about the dead man walking. When I saw my neighbor who had already died, or unalived, I don't want YouTube to cut my video, who was already unalived. I went to go get water. This was in Haiti. I was sent to get water, and I knew that the lady was alive. And when I went to get the water, it was somewhere in if I were to tell you the name, you would know where, but it was in Haiti, Okap, Haiti. And when I went to go get the water, I saw the lady. She talked to me, but she was going the opposite way, and she was alive and well, but we hadn't seen her for a while. And when I saw her, she looked healthy, and supposedly she was sick the whole time, and that is the reason why we hadn't seen her. We thought she went to go, to the next town over to visit family, but she was sick, because she was the town market lady, so we'd go and buy like food from her. We'll buy oil, we'll buy the thing that looks like a snake that you'll light up for mosquitoes. I think it's called mosquito something. I don't remember the name, but it's green, and you light it up. It's shaped like a snake, and it keeps away mosquitoes. And I've told this story before, but when we didn't see her, we just assumed that she was in the next town over visiting family. This is a normal thing that happens in Haiti. But when I went to go get the water, fetch the water, I saw her. She spoke with me, but she was going the opposite way, and she looked nice. She looked like she was healthy, all of that, exactly how I remembered her. All I knew is like she got sick, and she was starting to lose a lot of weight, but when I saw her that day, she looked like her normal self before she got sick. And she talked to me, but she was going the opposite way. And when I got home, they mentioned that the lady had passed away. So I basically saw her ghost going wherever she was going. So anyways, this is something that's very, very likely. And if you're someone who is tapped in, or is who is sensitive to the spirit realm, you can see people who have already passed away, but you will see them in their normal form, or at least that's how I always see it. Because I remember I told this story as well before with my friend who had special needs, and I have to keep saying that because that story, when I bring up, because I tell a lot of stories, so when I tell you, not stories, things that actually happen, right, in Haiti, I call them stories because in my opinion, that's what they are. They happen, but you guys don't know that, so I have to tell you, right? But when I saw him, even though he had passed away, I saw him how I remembered him before he passed away. He was just like a kid, and I didn't know he had passed away. I was playing with him. We were, whatever we were doing, all of that. The whole time I didn't even know he had passed away until like months later. I was told that he had passed away, but I was a kid. We were both kids, so I didn't know. I just saw him as he was, as my friend before. So to me, it wasn't normal. It wasn't weird that I was seeing him. Although he was like hiding behind the bush, and then he'll pick his head, and then he'll make funny faces like I remembered him. And it would play around like that, but he never got too close to me for some reason. I never understood why until after I found out that he had passed away. And even then, I did not know the concept of somebody passing away. It was just like, oh, well, he passed away. Okay, well, is he gonna come back? As a child, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so it's very interesting how you always see people, how you remember them, and not how they unalived. Anyway, let's get to the next story.
I need to tell you guys this ghost story. There's something wrong with my babysitting job. Quit the job. Quit the job. If you're having to deal with creepy children and paranormal things, quit right now. Before I even start reading this, I'm already freaked out. Number one, children and me, especially creepy children, not my favorite thing in the world. It's probably the scariest thing to me is having children who are scary. Babysitting, I think having to be in someone else's space while weird things are going on is even more terrifying because you don't really know the space unless you've been there a really long time. But even if you have been there a really long time, just the fact that it's not your space is already just terrible. I don't really know how to start this. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting, but I can't sleep and I need to write it out. I've been looking for a job for a while, babysitting, cleaning, anything. One morning around 5 a.m., I got a call from a no-caller ID asking if I was available to babysit at a countryside Victorian manor and if I could start the next day. Are we in a horror book? No interview, no questions. No ma'am. But the job sounded too good to pass up, and I like old houses. I mean, me being as nosy as I am, I'd go just to see the house. I'm not even kidding. They sent a driver to pick me up. What the actual hell is happening? What the actual hell is going on? Are we kidding? He barely spoke and at one point told me to put my phone away because there's bad signal out there anyway. I'm in a bad dream. I'm in a bad dream, actually. There is no damn way. When we pulled up, the place was massive but really nice. Big Victorian manor, fountains out front, statues, loads of flowers. Definitely not abandoned. The woman who runs the place came out to meet me. Inside smelled old but clean, like wax and flowers, not so much like an old people's home. There are 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. The boy is 7 and the 2 girls 6 and 3. I wasn't really introduced. They were already sitting at a long table when I came in, no TV, no toys. The youngest stuck to me straight away. The middle one was loud and playful, and the boy barely reacted and just watched me. I literally felt like I stepped into the past. You have actually stepped into probably every single scary movie I have ever watched in my entire life. The first few days were normal. I did basic babysitting stuff, meals, keeping the youngest occupied, reading, tidying up toys that barely got used. I learned pretty quickly they're on a strict routine, same meal times, same bedtimes, everything was precise. Yesterday I went to my bedroom after putting the little ones to bed, only to hear some loud screaming coming from the middle girl's bedroom. I rushed over to see what was going on to find her rolling side to side with her eyes closed. I was told the middle girl has night terrors, which can be treated, but I've come to realize that these people live in the past and reject modern world. What stuck out to me was what the girl said she saw. Tall black cloaks that were hollow with red beady eyes. Apart from the nightmares, nothing felt dramatic enough to freak out about at the time. After that, I started noticing small things, symbols carved into doors and banisters that don't look decorative. I don't know how true that story was, but if it was, you need to run. You need to get the hell out of there, okay? Otherwise, very entertaining story. I actually really liked reading it. Next one is called Spoke with the Deceased Woman on a Police Call. I have heard about this happening multiple times. There was one call I went to a death notification that really freaked me out. I had to contact some family members of a deceased woman that was involved in a fatal car accident a few miles away from her home. When I arrived to meet a woman near the roadway just inside the property gate, she said she heard me coming from miles away. I asked her if she lived at the residence, which she confirmed she did. I already don't like this. After asking her to speak with me at the house, she agreed, but said she needed to walk as the house was about 75 yards from the road. After making it to the house, I approached the front door on a small wooden porch and began scanning the driveway for the woman. It was about 1 a.m. and completely dark. While looking for the woman, the front door opened and a younger woman appeared. She was concerned about my presence and asked if everything was okay. I asked if I could speak with her and she welcomed me in. I told her I would wait for the woman I met near the gate and she told me nobody else should be home. I then freaked out and began searching the property. Nothing. After entering the residence, I told her and her husband the news about Susan, which ended up being her mother. She said her mother moved in a few months back and that her father had passed away and wasn't handling it well. While she and her husband were comforting one another, I began looking through the photos on the wall. There was the picture of the mid-aged woman that stuck out to me. She was a younger version of the woman I spoke with near the gate. While looking at the picture, the daughter confirmed that this was her mother. The woman that passed in the wreck! No! I spoke with the ghost of the individual that died in the crash. Get me out.
When people who do not believe in the paranormal have something happen to them that makes them undoubtedly believe in the paranormal, it always scares me and intrigues me all at the same time. And that is what this story is about. Something impersonating someone's family members in the woods and then him. And it terrified him. So the day that Nick said that this started was like any other day, like dozens of others. Him and his father were outside in the backyard playing football. Now he said while him and his father were playing with the football that the trees were very calm, everything outside was calm, it just seemed very normal. But at one point his dad shouts something simple, something he had said a million times before. He shouts, "Go long." So without thinking he just starts running and the voice kind of echoed throughout the woods like sound normally does. But then something echoed back. From deep inside the forest, the same exact words were repeated. Go long. It was the same timing, same phrasing, and at first his brain tried to rationalize it. Maybe someone was nearby, maybe it was just a coincidence, but the voice didn't sound human like it should have. It sounded like his dad, but wrong, slightly delayed, crackly, flat, like a poor imitation of a real voice. But before him or his dad could react, the dog outside just starts going crazy, barking aggressively, not playfully. He said it wasn't even like alert barking, it was pure panic. And this is where it gets creepy. That's when all of a sudden, the voice in the wood echoed again, but this time it echoed the dog's barking. He said the bark was close, but not perfect. It had a high right rhythm, but not the right feeling, like something that had heard a dog bark before, but didn't truly understand it. And then it happens again. The voice shifted and copied Nick. Hearing his own voice come from a place that it shouldn't exist was horrifying in a way that he did not expect. It didn't sound like a recording or an echo. It sounded like him, but stripped of something important. Empty, broken, like every imitation felt slightly off. He said the best analogy he could think of was a mask worn by something that didn't belong on it. And then, just as suddenly as it started, everything just stops. No voices, no barking, no movement, just pure silence. He said that the silence felt heavy in the air, and it didn't feel peaceful, it felt intentional, like whatever was out there had chosen to stop. Well, after this, they shortly go inside, right? But both of them are deeply unsettled, but they didn't really want to talk to each other about it. So they just decided to forget that it happened and just tell themselves that it was nothing more than imagination filling in gaps that they didn't understand. But Nick could not shake the feeling that this was not over, and he would not be wrong. A few days later, he did what he always did. There was a trail directly behind his house, and he walked on it often. It was familiar territory to him. It was somewhere that he had always felt comfortable. That day was no different, at least not at first. He walked in about a mile deeper than most people go. He then reaches this rocky pit-like area that opens up among the trees. He said it was quiet there though, almost unnaturally quiet. And that is when he saw it. It was standing on the rocks completely still. It had 4 legs, but it didn't stand like an animal that he recognized. Its posture was wrong and unnatural, like it was almost holding itself in a way that it wasn't meant to or used to. He said at this point, it did not charge at him, it did not run at him, it just stood there staring at him without making any movements whatsoever. And then it spoke. It said, "Help," in his mom's voice. He said that moment broke something in him. She wasn't there. She hadn't been outside that day. She wasn't there. She wasn't anywhere near the trail. And he just remembers standing there absolutely frozen, just trying to process what he was hearing. That he was also trying to process how this thing knew her voice. He said that confusion hit at first, and then fear hit, and it hit him all at once. He said at that point, he just turns around, he walks away as calmly as he can, trying to force himself not to panic, even though every instinct in his body was screaming at him to run. After that, things did not stop. He started noticing movement around his house. He said he started seeing figures at the end of his vision, shapes that would disappear when he would look directly at them. And he said that sometimes he felt like he was being followed or even watched from a distance, but he said it was always just far enough away to question if he was really seeing anything at all. And then his sleep started to change, and he started to experience sleep paralysis, but not in the way that people describe it. He said he wasn't seeing vague figures or shapes. He was seeing the same thing he saw standing at the foot of his bed in perfect vision. And this thing did not move, but it was yelling. Now, he couldn't move, he couldn't speak, he couldn't look away, and the sounds sounded louder than they should. He said that it was just filling the room. Now, he's tried to explain all of this to himself logically. He's tried to explain to himself that there's a reasonable answer. There's got to be something scientific, something harmless. But hearing familiar voices coming from places that they shouldn't, seeing something that doesn't behave like anything that he recognizes, feeling watched afterwards, change how he sees the world around him. He didn't want to believe anything like this. He didn't go searching for it. But after everything he's experienced, it's hard to pretend it didn't happen. He said that whether anyone else believes him or not, he knows what he heard, he knows what he saw, and he knows that whatever it was did not feel random. It felt aware. So what did you guys think of that story? I always find it super interesting when skeptics have something happen to them that is so terrifying that they can't deny it, right? That's terrifying to me. What do you guys think this was? I have my thoughts of what I think it was, a few different things, but I can't say any of them. So you'll have to drop in the comments whatever you think this was. But this is absolutely terrifying. And for something to have enough intelligence like this thing did, and the way that it was able to like mess with his mind the way that it did is terrifying. Like, it's almost like it knew exactly how to scare him and what would make him like question everything about himself, his world, and just really scare him. I think the scariest part in the story is when he saw it standing there and it said help in his mother's voice. That part freaked me out, because can you imagine how many emotions you would be feeling? Like how, like scared, like not wanting to hear your mom say that, first of all, ever, and then just seeing something that shouldn't be say it in her voice. Oh, I can't even imagine. But drop all your thoughts, opinions, and suggestions below, please. And as always, please be respectful, because he was kind enough to share this story, even though that sounds like he doesn't really believe in this stuff in the first place, or didn't. And with that being said, I'm not going to do my favorite part, which is the shout outs. Mooski Brewski, first of all, I love you so much right back. And second of all, you said that your third eye just opened up and that these stories are helping you. I am so glad that they are helping you. I hope that some of the comments are helping you. Congratulations on your third eye just opening up. I know that can be really scary sometimes, but it's also a gift, at least I think it is. But I wish you all of the positive vibes in the world. I hope that you are able to channel it correctly and that it brings you great joy. That's all I hope for you. And thank you so much for supporting me, watching my stories. And I'm so glad that they're helping you, because that's all I want my stories to do, is help people. So thank you for telling me that. You are the best. I love you. Amanda_Ramon. I loved your comment for so many different reasons. First of all, it was so genuine and so kind. You have no idea how much that meant to me. Second of all, I love that you and your kids watch me together. I love it when significant others or family members or friends watch me together, because I love bringing people together. So the fact that I'm a part of like a little routine for you guys, where you guys get to like sit around and get cozy and watch my stories, just brightens my whole life. I love it so much. So hi to your kids, and thank you so much for watching me with your mom, and I appreciate you guys more than you will ever know. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you so much to your mom for supporting me and for letting your kids watch me. I hope that I don't scare you guys too much, but I just wanted to tell you all how much I love you and appreciate you, and I hope you know that. And with that being said, my name is Kaisa, and I tell you your paranormal experiences on here, or ones that you recommend to me every single night. So if you're into that, hit that follow button, and I just need you to do 3 things for me. What are those? Keep sending me your scary stories. Have a safe night. What's the third one? Say it with me. Have a spooky night. Love you so much, my spooky babies. I'll see you in the next one. Spooky kisses and haunted hugs.
Have you ever heard talking or laughing or weird sounds while you're in the shower? Now, believe it or not, a lot of people have had paranormal experiences while in the shower. And I think it's because you have to understand that is when we are the most vulnerable, right? We're unclothed, we are not really focused on anything, and we sort of can't see anything around us. And I think when you have an encounter in the bathroom, it's usually something negative. Now, this is a story that comes out of Chicago. There was this young girl who lived with her roommate, and she said one day she's at the house, she's taking a shower, and said all of a sudden as she's washing her hair, she sees a hand come around the curtain, and it's like moving. And she thinks this is her roommate who's just like messing around with her. So she starts slapping the hand and is like, stop it, get out of here, I'm trying to shower. And when she gets out of the shower and goes to see like what her roommate wanted or what she was doing, she realizes her roommate isn't even home. So she, is like, okay, that was really weird. Like maybe I don't know, was imagining it. About 2 weeks later, she once again is in the shower. And as she's taking a shower, she can see the shape of a man standing behind the shower curtain. And, she's terrified. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do in this situation? So she grabs the shower curtains and pulls them over, and there's no one there. Several other times, she would be in the shower and she would hear someone talking, or she would get the feeling that someone was touching her back, and she would look around and there was no one there. So this kept happening, and she, wondered, like, why is this happening to me? And, like, why doesn't my roommate ever experience this? Until one day she's going out of her house, and she talks to the neighbor. And the neighbor says, there used to be a young guy who lived here, and he dated a girl that looked just like you. And it's crazy. The young guy, he was in the shower, he slipped and fell, hit his head, and passed away.
When I was still living in New Hampshire, I lived on a dead-end road, and I was surrounded by really nice neighbors for the most part. The last house on the dead end was a 2-story house, and it had a married elderly couple, and they weren't very friendly, but I would still talk to the husband sometimes, and he would be nice enough. The wife would text me every so often, but for the most part, they were standoffish, and, you know, I was civil with them, and they were civil with me. And one day, the wife came to my door and said that she saw 2 loose dogs, and she wanted to make sure that neither of them were mine. I told her, no, Rocky is inside asleep on the couch, but I'll be happy to try to track them down and see who they belong to and return them to their owners. After I did that, and the dogs were reunited with their owners, I went and knocked on their door to let her know that the problem had been taken care of, since she seemed really worried about it, and her husband answered the door. Like I said, her husband was usually the more friendly of the two, but when he opened the door, I could immediately tell that something was not quite right. And I told him, hey, you know, I had spoken with your wife earlier and wanted to let her know that the dogs are back home now and everything is okay. And the entire time we were talking, he was just like, yeah, okay, not himself at all. But what was more concerning was I realized there was this dark shadow surrounding him and over him, but it wasn't anywhere else in the house behind him. Like, I could see that there was sunlight in the home, but this shadow was just around him. I don't know how else to explain it. It was like this darkness was clinging to him. He was not acting like himself. I could tell that he wanted me to leave, so I did. And the next morning, around 5 a.m., I was woken up by the sound of ambulance sirens, and I looked out my window, and they were in front of their house. I came to find out that he had had a heart attack early that morning. I don't know if he was physically feeling something, if his body was trying to warn him that something was wrong, but I don't think it's a coincidence that he had a major medical event right after I saw this darkness all around him. He survived, thank God, but I just kind of wonder if he's still the same person that he was before that heart attack, because I never got a chance to speak with him again before I moved. They went from being outside sometimes and occasionally saying hello to me never seeing them outside of.
Hey guys, I'm Jenny and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teach you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use, alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell. So if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money, and I even have some easy powerful spell to win Game of Chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to senders. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week as long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, you know, content every day for you guys. So enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, you know, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.